we'll get you in the mood for a big Christmas weekend ahead. And we've got the 3 M's of Christmas. We've just made that up, but we have. We've got a magician, we've got a mermaid, and we've got Mitchell. Mitchell is the singer from The Voice, who you remember we spoke to. He'll be popping by later. He's doing the entertainment. We've got more entertainment because we've got magician Scott Perry with us, and he says he can do a trick live on the radio that'll work on the radio without you saying, well, we can't see whether that's true or not. We'll find out what that is. But we thought, what do we need in a party? A magician. And you remember earlier in the week we were talking to magician Scott Perry from Sleaford, and he said he'd be able to do it as a magic trick on the radio. And you can do this, Scott. Morning, by the way.
Good morning. Well, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah.
How well it will work.
Have you ever done a magic trick on the radio before?
I think I did years ago.
Many years ago.
But of course, it's a very challenging thing to do. Hopefully, we will accomplish that this morning.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. Now we'll get the trick done, but we've got you a volunteer. We're going to go live to Mike and Jane's house a little bit later on to do the trick. So that's good. We've picked them out of the audience, so to speak.
Oh, perfect.
In true magician style. But tell us a bit about you and how you got into magic, because I've got to ask you this. If you put Scott Perry in Google, it puts bad boy of magic. What's all that about?
So a very brief history of my career. I grew up in Lincolnshire. I was unemployed for a series of time in my young adulthood, and the Prince's Trust charity helped me, supported me in starting up my business. So they gave me 2 years of mentorship and that kind of thing, and that was pivotal, really. In the back end of the 2008 recession in 2011, when no one was giving jobs or opportunities, really, they helped me start up as a professional magician.
Wow.
And I've never looked back since. So ever since 2011, I've been a full-time professional magician. But the bad boy of magic situation at the beginning of this year basically was I was banned from the prestigious magic circle for life.
For life?
For life.
What did you do, Scott?
I think my views on magic, and I'm quite liberal with magic, and of course they have a very strict policy of you do not disclose any secrets. They felt that I overstepped the line, and that led to my banning.
What, you revealed how a trick was done, did you? Is that what happened?
Not exactly. I mean, not in my opinion. In their opinion,
there was a bit of a dispute as to whether you did or didn't.
Exactly. But out of that, I was put in touch with Teller of Penn and Teller, the great magic duo from America, and Teller kindly invited me down to London to his show, and we hung out backstage, and because Penn and Teller are the original bad boys of magic.
Yeah, so by that, getting that reputation, it's done you all right.
It's been fantastic, yes. And I think the late Paul Daniels said that if you choose magic as a career, you might not make much money, but you'll lead a really interesting life. And I think
true?
that is certainly true.
And what do we presume? I mean, obviously, well, I don't know. What do you do? Corporate events? Do you do shows? How does it work with you? What sort of you've got a busy schedule, have you?
Yeah, so it's a whole spectrum. So you're right, corporate shows, fundraisers, awards, things like that, weddings. I always say that the best way that anyone can enjoy magic is just a small gathering, a dinner party, something like that at home. Just maybe 10 or 20 of your friends and family. Everyone's relaxed, and that is the best way that someone can enjoy great magic.
Yeah. And in terms of how you got into it, you mentioned you were not working for a while. Did you always wanted to be a magician, or did this suddenly come out of the blue, or what?
Yeah, so I've been performing and studying magic since I was 12 years old, and I'm now 36, so a little while. And I always thought that I was going to be a magician. I think when I was 16, my parents took me out to Vegas on an invitation from some of the magicians out there. They highlighted me as a particularly talented young magician. I recorded my first television show, I think when I was 15 with a great TV personality, Stephen Mulhern.
Oh, yeah.
That was never commissioned for air, but, I had lots of big opportunities as a child magician. But then I think in adulthood, I stepped away from it for about 5 years for various reasons, and started to look at other things. I studied music production in Lincoln, and a few other things, but then ended up coming back to magic because of the Prince's Trust.
Well, that is, I mean, the Prince's Trust story is amazing because it sounds like you were a real low ebb then. You had no job and you must have wondered what you were going to do. And then it is almost a bit of magic, isn't it, that they stepped in?
Definitely. I always say that without their support and without their encouragement and guidance, I may well still be unemployed now. I don't know what would have happened had they not been there to provide that support.
And is it when you're a magician as well? If you just like in your normal everyday life, going about your business, or you go to someone's party, does everybody want you to do a trick all the time? Is it a bit like that?
Yes, but people always say to me, whether I meet people on a train, a plane, wherever it is, they always say, "Oh, I bet you get sick of people asking you about." And of course not, because who doesn't enjoy someone taking joy in their job? Yeah. I love it. I love when people say to me, "Oh, Scott, would you mind showing me a trick?"
Yeah.
And I don't always oblige, but
can't do it on demand.
Well, I can, but I think sometimes it's not right for the moment,
right?
And sometimes it doesn't feel it feels a little bit awkward to just do a trick randomly. But I always try to do it, and I have some great stories about that. There was a story of a young girl on a train from Great Ormond Street who I entertained, and she took a picture of me back to school and told them at show and tell that she'd met this magician on the train, and that, to be able to change people's days like that and give them some magic and change their attitude and make them excited about the day. I think that's one of the special things about magic.
Yeah. Well, that's a great show and tell story. I met a magician on the train. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. Right. See, we're going to do in about 10 minutes or so. We're going to do a trick that'll work on the radio. We have got Mike and Jane, sorry. I'm mixing up everybody's names. Mike and Jane in their kitchen live. I can see them with their flashing lights. We will do that very soon. So Scott, for now, thank you very much. We'll be back with Scott very soon. He's Sleaford Magician, the bad boy of magic, as he's called, which sounds like you quite like that, don't you? I think.
I wouldn't like to say. I try to do my best in work and in life, and there's the old saying, isn't there, that no well-behaved person accomplishes anything in history.
That's a good saying, I think. Back with Scott, who's going to do your live magic that you'll be able to play along with at home here on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. Scott with you at breakfast with our Christmas party here on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. Later, a mermaid. And Mitchell. Mitchell is a singer who was on The Voice. But we've got a magician as well to complete the 3 M's. And there's nothing very festive about the 3 M's. It's just that's what we've got. It's not a particular Christmas. Scott Perry from Sleaford. Some call him the bad boy of magic because he got in a bit of a do with the magic circle. But he's come through it and he's still here performing. Now, you said we challenged you earlier in the week, Scott, to do a trick on the radio.
That's correct.
And you needed some volunteers to take part in this trick.
Absolutely.
Right. If you look to your left there on the screen, we can go live to the kitchen of Mike and Jane. Morning, Mike and Jane.
Morning.
Morning. And they are there. They've got their Christmas hats on. Well, Jane's got a Christmas hat on. Well, they've got a little elf. I don't think it's our little elf. So we're going to do this trick, and people will be able to listen along at home and join in, will they?
Yes. And the point of using Mike and Jane is because we could have set something up in the studio beforehand. Yeah. And I don't want anyone to think that something like that is happening.
So you've got to do it with Mike and Jane because they are not part of any funny business behind the scenes. That's what you're saying, Scott?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, right. Well, I'll hand over to you. This is Scott. This is live magic, and he's got some cards in front of him.
Well, I'm glad that you had me on first, Scott, because if this doesn't work, at least the mermaid is going to continue the show for us. And also, so before I begin, I'd like to dedicate this magic trick to Eddie Dawes, the late Eddie Dawes, who was up the road in Hull. He was an interesting person and a wonderful magician who passed away earlier this year. So this is in dedication to him.
That's lovely.
So if I were to show you, obviously, who is it that we have on the party?
We've got Mike and Jane.
Okay, here. Mike and Jane. I don't know if they can see these, but you can see them, Scott. We have a cross, a circle, 3 wavy lines, and a square.
Yeah.
So these were some of the symbols that were used in a 1950s study for ESP. ESP stands for extrasensory perception. So it was a study over thousands of people and you can search the study, all of the papers and research are online, to see if people had true, genuine psychic ability.
I could hold those cards up to the camera,
Yes.
Phillips. If I hold those cards up to Jane
Mike
and Jane there,
Yes.
and just showing
Yeah,
you,
got 'em.
you can see the cards.
Wonderful.
There we
Yeah,
go.
got them.
There we go. Excellent. I'm involved in magic now. This is exciting.
So usually I would get someone to actually physically choose one of these cards, but Mike and Jane, we have a circle, 3 wavy lines, a square, and a cross. If you can decide between both of you, who would like to choose one? And then if you just one of those out loud, 3 wavy lines, circle, square, or a plus.
3 wavy lines.
And it's the 3 wavy lines that leaves us with the circle, the plus, or the square. Would you like to stay? It was Jane. So would you like to stay with the 3 wavy lines? After this point, you're not going to have the opportunity to change your mind again. So I'd like to give you the opportunity to change your mind now, if you wish.
No, we'll stick with the 3 wavy lines, please.
Okay,
let's stick
perfect.
it.
So we have the 3 wavy lines now, Scott. Since the beginning,
Yeah.
next to these cards on the table, you've also seen an envelope.
Yes, there's
This
an
envelope has been here since the very beginning, since I first sat down here.
Uh-huh.
I had a premonition, Scott.
Oh.
So when I woke up this morning, I took out one card and I placed it in this envelope because I knew that today, of all days, Jane would choose the 3 wavy lines. If you hold it up to the camera, actually, and you can take it out of the envelope.
I'm taking it out of the envelope now, and I'm going to hold it up to the camera.
And before you say that out loud, Scott, is there anything else in the envelope?
Let me just fiddle in there. There's nothing in the envelope, and I can confirm it is the 3 waving lines. There we go. Magic. Live magic on the radio. That is good. You're the bad boy of magic. How did you do that? You're not going to tell us, are you?
I think you would have to hire me to learn the secret, Scott.
Thank you very much, Scott Perry, Sleaford magician, with us this morning on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. Live magic, Abby Dewhurst. We've got it all here in our little party.
Goodness.
Have you got your party frock on, Abby?
Yes, I have.
If you're just joining us, you've just missed live radio magic from Sleaford magician Scott Williams.
It was very
Scott Perry,
good.
so I've got Scott Williams is at the darts. He's magic as well. He's into the last 32. That's good. That's good, wasn't it?
How did he do that?
How did he do it? I thought he might tell us. He didn't. No. It's exciting, isn't it? So our breakfast show Christmas party is in full swing. Our magician is still here, Scott Perry from Sleaford. Morning, Scott, you all right?
Yes, good morning.
Earlier you did live magic on the radio.
I did my best.
And it was very good. We hooked up with Mike and Elaine, Mike and Jane, I should say, in their house in Lincoln to do that. And thankfully the trick went right, the punchline worked, so that is good. Are you busy over Christmas, Scott? You got many gigs and stuff on?
Everything was wrapped up this week, so I am looking forward to enjoying Christmas time over the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, but people will be saying, can you do a trick, Scott? Can you do a trick?
I'm sure, but I think the biggest secret that I'm keeping is that perhaps I know the secret ingredient to the sausage rolls, because my first ever job was an apprentice butcher in the small village of Heckington.
Oh, really? So you might know that secret that they're on about for the sausage rolls?
Yes, but I couldn't divulge.
Oh, I see. So we've got the magician. And Scott, your magic, we were talking, you do lots of corporate events and stuff like that. Do you ever do a straight magic show on stage, or is that not so much a thing now?
Yes, it is. I think it's more popular than ever since COVID time. I think that there's a huge demand for live entertainment. I'm sure Mitchell will agree that people just want to be out enjoying their lives, being entertained, and having a great time. So I recently had a run of shows at Allington Manor, just outside of Grantham, but it's still very much a thing that people enjoy.
Yeah, and the thing for you is people gasping. You want people to gasp, don't you, at your tricks, presumably?
Exactly. I hope that they have some positive reaction to it, yes.
It brings people together all the time. Like people are singing along, they're dancing. I just love the atmosphere. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's what any performer can dream of. Just seeing people coming together, enjoying themselves, having a great time, and making memories that they'll think about forever.
Scott, do the tricks ever go wrong? I mean, does that happen?
They haven't for a long time. That's not to say that they can't.
And can you obviously only you know what's meant to happen, but are you able to cover it up if it all goes wrong?
Yes, like any professional. Every professional knows a way out of a hole that they've dug themselves into.
I mean, how do you deal with it? Because at corporate events, Scott, you must have a few boozy revellers. Doing tricks to them is tricky, isn't it? Because they have to concentrate and sort of go along with the trick, don't they?
Well, you would like to think so, but I just generally leave them to enjoy their conversation and drinks, because trying to perform magic to people who are a little bit tipsy is just a complete waste of time.
Brilliant. Right, Scott's here, the magician. Mitchell's here, the singer. Now you're going to do some singing in a minute. We've got the Birdie's here from the Butchers.
I just got in. I got the sausage rolls. I want to know what the secret ingredient is. Did you say, Scott? You said you knew.
Scott knows.
No. I said I couldn't divulge, but my first ever job growing up as a child was an apprentice butcher. So I have experience of mixing all of the ingredients together, being in the back room with all of the mincing equipment and all of that stuff.
Yeah, but Scott has got a rep. Scott is known as the bad boy of magic because he let well, he says he didn't. Magic Circus said he did. He let a secret. So we know when you're giving like the sausage roll secrets out as well, Scott.
Exactly. I think one secret is enough for 1 year.
So our party is well underway.
Smell good.
To the magician, Scott Perry.
Morning.
Good morning. This is the best Christmas party ever.
If not the most slightly bonkers one.
Definitely, but that secret ingredient in the sausage rolls is serving us well.
Yeah, we are fueled by sausage rolls from the butchers in Lincoln that sold 3,000 of them yesterday. Scott, if you were joining us late, is known as the bad boy of magic because she got in trouble with the magic. We got chucked out of the magic circle, didn't you?
I did, yes. But then have subsequently, like I said, been befriended by the duo Penn and Teller.
Yeah, that's a good name drop, isn't it? At a Christmas party. Yeah, I befriended Penn and Teller, the world famous magicians. Scott, this could be like a trick for you. You could incorporate, a trick with Twinkle the Mermaid.
Maybe I could make the tank appear.
Oh, yes.
That would be special.
This is very exciting. We're making, between you three, with Mitchell as well, we can write a show here, aren't we?
It would be amazing.
Also, we've got Scott Perry, the bad boy of magic, as he's called, from Sleaford, our magician. Are you all right, Scott?
Yes, I'm very well. I was sat in with Mitchell in the studio, and he sounds even more amazing live.
Wow, that is good. That is great. And you... we said you're the bad boy of magician because you sort of let some secrets out the bag, and the magic circle said, "Oh, you naughty man, get out." But then you're friends with Penn and Teller now as a result. Sort of.
Yeah, I wouldn't say friends.
You're acquaintances.
Well, Teller did. I emailed him recently, and he did say that he was in Bavaria at the time. But once he returns home, he'd forgotten to put me on his Christmas card list. So he said that once he returns home, he'll make sure he sends out a Christmas card to me, which is lovely. Which is all that's what anyone dreams of when they're speaking to the top of the professionals
Magic
in their industry.
Royalty, he
exactly.
Is, isn't he?
Yes,
that is great. That is fantastic. And you're done now for gigs. You're all ready until the new year now, are you?
I have a wedding just in between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, brilliant.
But I think this is the first New Year's in 10 years that I won't be working, so I will be enjoying it.
You can have a proper knees up.
Exactly.
Well, look, good luck. Thank you for coming to our party.